Today's episode of the Dog Training Revolution is crowdfunded by you and sponsored by petflow.com. Most of you love dogs. In fact, you love them so much that you're thinking about adding another dog to your life. In today's video, I'm going to show you the steps that you need to take in order to make sure that your new dog gets along with your current pets from day one. Sarah has an adorable dog named Sadie, and she's decided to add a new member to her family. I've offered to help out in order to make sure the transition goes as smoothly as possible. Click thumbs up if you're enjoying our videos, and definitely subscribe. I've got lots of great videos planned in the future. I'm a PetFlow customer myself, and it's clear to me that this is how people are going to get their dog food in the future because it is so convenient. PetFlow.com makes your life more convenient by making sure you have your dog food when you need it. All you have to do is select your favorite dog food. PetFlow has virtually all of them, and how often you want it delivered. It's really that simple. Their prices are every bit as good, if not better, than the big chains as well. Enjoy the benefits of living in the 21st century. Set up automatic pet food delivery today at petflow.com/ZachGeorge. When you check out, enter code ZACH20 and you'll get 20% off of your first order. As many of you know, we have a lot of work to do to change the perceptions in what it means to really teach a dog without force and with compassion. By getting your dog food from petflow.com, you're helping to directly fund the revolution in dog training. Now let's go meet Sarah, Sadie, and her new dog. Sarah, I know you do a lot of volunteer work with Animal Rescue New Orleans. I'm really impressed by that. Why do you do it, and how long have you been doing it for?
Well, I've been doing it for a little over a year, and I just love to spend time with the dogs and just to do anything I can to help them out and to just be a better example for people around town.
Why did you decide to get another dog right now?
Well, when I met Deuce, I just fell in love with him. Sadie loves dogs, and I just thought she could have a friend in the house.
She's very amped up, isn't she?
Yes.
We have Deuce here, your new dog, who's just hanging out, and he's very chill right now. Deuce and your current dog, Sadie, have met briefly at the shelter, and they played for a little bit. And I do have some concerns because when they were playing, Sadie was coming on a bit strong, and Deuce had to say, "Yo, back off, man. That's a little bit too much." And so I want to make sure that that situation doesn't accelerate and that they kind of know how to interact with one another without communicating in such a forceful way. The key is going to be going slow and really easing both dogs into the new situation. The biggest thing you can do to throw a dog off is change their environment or change a major variable in their environment. There's obviously a lot of variables when it comes to introducing two new dogs, and every situation is really unique. But today I hope to give you some general guidelines on things to keep in mind in order to ensure a smooth transition. Ideally, it's best that you screen any potential new dog to make sure that they're generally good with other dogs. But even if you do this, this is no guarantee that they're still going to get along with your individual dog. Now, we'll be paying particular attention to both dogs' body language, and that can tell you an awful lot. Both Sadie and Deuce have a lot of energy, and it can be very risky introducing two dogs with a lot of energy that have not been exercised. Now, since neither dog knows fetch yet, that's my preferred way to exercise a dog. We're going to have to settle for taking them on a walk to get some of that energy out. You would not necessarily accomplish getting two dogs comfortable with one another in a single training session. So the advice I'm going to give you today is something that you should implement over the next 7 to 14 days, though it can be months with some dogs, or it can be an afternoon with others. My general game plan today is to break this training session up into 3 major components. First, we want to get the dogs comfortable just being around each other in an area that neither one really identifies as their house. So for example, a walk. Then we want to encourage some minimal interaction, maybe after the walk is over. And finally, we'll get them comfortable, hopefully, fingers crossed, being comfortable with each other inside the house. And you also have a cat named Mika.
Yes.
That's a big wild card here. We don't know how Deuce is going to do with cats. We've never seen him with cats. Our goal will be to introduce Deuce and Mika, your cat, and hopefully that goes well. Everything is going as expected so far. We have Sadie, who's kind of glancing. She's pulling on the leash. That just means she's got a lot of energy in her right now. That's to be expected with a high energy dog like her. But this is interesting. Deuce just gave his longest look yet to Sadie, and he's just taking it in. They're able to assess a lot about one another, believe it or not, through all of this. Dogs have their own way of communicating and understanding one another in a way that we can't understand. And when I'm looking at Sadie, I can see that she's a lot more eager to interact with Deuce. Our next step is to make sure that we can get their attention on us so we have better control should they get out of hand later. Basically, it's like this, sit, look at the treat. It's up here at my eyes. Good dog, I like that. Now we're gonna phase out the treat and it's, hey, up here, look at me, no treat. Got his attention on me. I love that. Yeah. And I'm now gonna reward separately. If you guys need a more detailed lesson on how to teach your dog to look at you, I'll have a video in the description that will tell you everything you need to know. Up here, look at me. Yes, look at me. And notice they're not looking at a treat right now, they're being attentive. And I'm ready to proceed, but we just want to prepare them for what we're gonna ask them to do later, so it's not such a foreign concept. By taking small steps, you're more likely to ensure success when you're teaching your dog. You're doing fantastic. Deuce, you are a rock star, buddy. Our next step is to get them comfortable walking past one another, and then we're gonna encourage some minimal interaction, and then we'll take it to the next level and see if we can get them playing together. The goal here is to see how they react as they walk past one another. You can see Sadie is looking at Deuce over here. Deuce looking over at Sadie. That was a very, very good look. He just glanced at her. That's all very normal. That's what we're hoping to see. If you had one dog trying to get at the other, if they're really excited and trying to play, that probably means that they're not thoroughly exercised enough. So I'd recommend that you take a step back and get the more energetic dog tired before doing this exercise. Now you can see she's getting excited. This is a sign that he's comfortable, Deuce right here. If he's going on his back and he's rolling around, he's feeling good. She recognizes that, Sadie, as a sign of play. She's getting in a playful mood. Biting on the leash is pretty typical for a dog that wants to play right there. So this is a good sign. I think they might be primed right now to kind of sniff each other and say hello. What do you say we encourage them to just keep the leashes nice and loose here and keep that leash loose? Okay. No, don't pull her back just yet. Hey, right there, let's pull her back. See, and so those are the kind of things that's very normal. Over here, no ma'am, excuse me. Over here, sit, good. It is common for a lot of dogs to behave that way when on leash more than off leash.
We can play it back.
Yeah, if you can pull that up, I just want to analyze that before we move on.
Let's take a look at this and see what happened. Everything is going well until right about here. This is where you see Sadie's hair raise, her tail stops wagging, and her overall demeanor becomes a bit more guarded.
And keep that leash loose.
The reason I like to see a loose leash in this situation is that a tight leash when greeting another dog might encourage a feeling of defensiveness as a dog is reminded that he or she is restrained. It's really clear that Sadie took exception to Deuce greeting her here as he made his way to her rear. This is her way to say, I don't mind getting to know you, but we're not at the point where I'm comfortable with you checking me out unconditionally. Perhaps very encouraging is that after the scuffle, Deuce immediately looks to Sarah for direction. That's a good sign. Because the body language of both dogs instantly returns to that which would suggest being in a playful mood, and because Sadie is almost instantly receptive to training as I ask her to sit, this tells me that this is likely not serious.
So obviously we had a little bit of an unpleasant reaction there with Sadie and Deuce. It's not very abnormal at all. Many of you have dealt with this at home, but when that happens, that's your cue. Take a step back, ease them into it. I don't think this is that serious, so I'm going to encourage the dogs to play together off leash. However, if this happens with your dogs, you may want to consider bringing in a positive trainer with good credentials. Remember, always make sure that your trainer is up to date on the latest science and ethics in dog training. So now we're in the backyard with Sadie. We're gonna bring Deuce back out in a second, but I kind of want to have her play a little bit more, get a little bit more energy out. I think we're gonna be in a better situation now if both dogs are off leash. The reason that in this specific situation, I think having both dogs off leash is likely to make things better is because they don't feel as restrained, they can act more naturally with one another. It's worth noting that when you introduce dogs to each other that you pick up all the toys, all the things that one dog is likely to be more possessive over, so you can avoid that potential conflict from the beginning. There's the hair. So call Sadie back if you can.
Sadie!
That's good. She's diffused now. Her hair got a little up there, but those are the little things we want to look for. Okay, go ahead and let's let him talk. Good. That's good. There we go. That's what I want to see. This is all play on Sadie's part. This is good behavior right now. During these initial stages of having the dogs interact, they're doing really well right now, but you might want to avoid being in the middle of them, giving too much attention to one dog over the other. That could also cause one dog to be a little bit more protective. So if you notice that when you're trying to introduce a new dog to your current dog that they're not immediately interacting, that's also okay. Not all dogs want to burst into play immediately. Everything's going pretty smoothly back here. I think we're ready to move on to our final step, which is getting the dogs comfortable with being near each other while inside the house.
In general, this is the most challenging part. Imagine a new person moving into your house and how that might affect you. To be ultra clear, it's best to make sure that the dogs have met outside decide if either dog is moderate to high energy, make sure that they are well exercised. This is strongly advised. If things do get out of hand, break the dogs up, get their attention on you, and then allow them to start playing again. As you can see, these guys are going to be buddies. But there is one more thing we still need to address.
But you have one more variable that's quite interesting. You have a cat,
Yes.
Mika, and we have no idea how he's going to react with her.
Right.
What I'd like to do is bring down Mika and just kind of see how he acts. We're going to keep him on leash because we don't know if he's likely to chase the cat or if he's likely to be like, I don't care about cats. Some dogs are like that. So why don't you go get Mika and we'll see how he does.
All right.
You'll want to introduce your new dog to one new pet at a time as to avoid overwhelming him or her.
What I'm trying to do right now is I'm trying to get Deuce to listen to me in the presence of Mika over here. You can see he's really interested. Sit. But good, look at me. Very nice, that's good. And you want to do this under very controlled circumstances. Now remember though, every dog, every cat is different, so you'll want to use discretion based on your situation. We're not dying to have Mika and Deuce interact with one another. Right now, the goal is simply to get him comfortable in the presence of her and to get him paying attention to me while in the presence of Mika. I mean, I'd like her on the ground, but I don't want them interacting just yet. I don't want to rush them into that. Up here, sit, and see right there, now that she's on the ground, he's much more interested in her. See how he's not taking the treat?
Yeah.
That means we're asking him to do too much right now.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? So if that was you, what you would want to do is you would want to take some more time to get your dog comfortable just being in the same room with your cat, but not have direct access to your cat. In the description, I'll have a video on how to teach your dog to leave your cat alone, but that's a little bit different than introducing your dog to your cat. You'll want to be very conservative and take your time. Guys, listen, there's nothing wrong with taking days, weeks, or even months to introduce your dog to a cat or even another dog in some situations. Don't feel like you have to rush it. I think you're doing fantastic. I think they're going to end up being best friends in no time.
Thanks so much, Zach.
Everyone did an awesome job in today's episode. If you agree, click thumbs up. I want to give a special thank you to our patrons on patreon.com/ZachGeorge. You guys are totally awesome. With the funds from your monthly contributions, we are able to make better and better videos. That's always the goal here. Make sure you guys are subscribed. Tell me how many dogs you have in the comments below, and don't forget to like me on Facebook. I'll have all those links in the description, and we'll see you guys in the next video.
And don't forget to set up automatic pet food delivery today from petflow.com/ZachGeorge. I'll have that link in the description. If you want to teach your dog how to stop barking, my last video will show you what you need to do. Of course, if you need assistance with teaching your dog to give your cat some peace and quiet, check out How to Teach Your Dog to Leave Your Cat Alone. If your dog loves to play, check out How to Teach Your Dog to Catch Frisbees with my dog Alpha Centauri and me. If you love learning about dogs, don't forget to subscribe, and thank you so much to our patrons on patreon.com/ZachGeorge. Can't wait to see you guys in the next video.